Well, hello and welcome to Over the Vast Nurseries on a beautiful morning in early autumn. The sun's shining, there's hardly a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful temperature, and I have to tell you that it's a real pleasure to be outside on a morning like today and to be able to tell you a little about some of the plants that we grow here on our nurseries. Lots of really good plants that have been especially selected for their performance here in our region. That's the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states of the US. And if you'd like to find out more about them, can I suggest that you click and subscribe to our channel, and then as we produce new videos, which we're doing all the time, you'll be able to see all of the ones that we grow and perhaps consider growing at least some of these in areas around your home. Now, we grow trees and shrubs and perennials, climbing plants and ornamental grasses too. And as you see in front of me here, we also grow some really nice evergreen ground covering conifers too. Take for example this magnificent form of the Siberian cypress. This is Microbiota Celtic pride. No, correct. I should pronounce it Celtic pride. I take a little bit of fun out of that because I tease my friends up in New England because, of course, the pronunciation that I learned of this name is Celtic rather than Celtic. But they tell me with a great deal of pride that it's something to do with New England and something to do with basketball. Anyway, whether you pronounce it Celtic or Celtic, this is a really good plant that, as you see, was introduced through proven winners. Now here's a plant that's extremely hardy. It's a Zone 2 plant that has its origins in the mountains above the tree line northeast of Vladivostok in Russia. Very cold and inhospitable, and here's a plant that, as you see, has this very pretty fern-like foliage that spreads out over the ground to produce magnificent ground cover. It's a plant that will grow either in sun or in a partially shaded situation. Spreads out to make a carpet of about 5 to 6 foot wide by only about 12 inches to maybe 36 inches high at its most. It's a very good, tough, hardy, easy to grow, reliable plant that you could consider putting on banks and hillsides, using on ground cover, say alongside paved areas and roadways and pathways, anywhere where you're looking to provide evergreen ground cover. Now this plant brings back memories every time I see it, because as a young man I remember seeing it in the fabulous Trompenberg Gardens and Arboretum ran by Dick Van Hoey Smith in Rotterdam. Dick had lots of contacts through the International Dendrological Society, and he managed to get hold of this way back in 1968, and then he introduced it as a botanical curiosity at the Chelsea Flower Show in 1973. And then some years later, when I was visiting the Netherlands, I was lucky enough to see his plants growing in the Arboretum. So here's a plant that made it out from behind the Iron Curtain to the west, and thereafter then became very popular for the fabulous ground covering plant that it is. Selected by our friends up in New England at Pride's Corner Farms and introduced in 2010, this is Microbiota Celtic Pride.